Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturners. I attended the AAW Symposium in Raleigh, North Carolina. One of my favorite presenters was a guy named Max Brosi from Ireland who does some fantastic work. And while this doesn't emulate anything that he has done, it was inspired by what he did. Since I had some nice fresh pear wood, it was green, he does all his turning green, I decided to turn something inspired by him. Now it's interesting that this one is turned green, and this is as it came from the gouge. There's been no sanding on it at all. So notice then the color difference between this, which is straight from the gouge, and this one, which was turned a week later out of the same piece that was at the end of this piece. This one was air dried and had the pith in it, and of course has had radial cracking and splinting. Lost a piece there, but that's okay. And so this will be the stand, this will be the pear for this piece. So it's interesting to do. Almost got it too thin here, but I'll be doing more to emulate him in the future. But as a beginning point, this is, I think, a nice little practice piece.
This wood is ornamental pear from a neighbor's tree blown down in a recent storm. The spindle blanks were turned to removed bark, sealed with wax wood sealer, and stored in a plastic garbage bag. Now I have this piece remounted with the original centers. It is still very wet. The first task is to turn a sphere using the octagon method. I will not need it perfect, so I'll just do the best I can, but stop before using cup centers. I keep the ratios on my phone, 0.293 from the end to the corner and 0.414 for the length of a side. These are multiplied by the diameter. I'm turning the ends down to a diameter equal to the length of a side, leaving the extra wood for now in the tenons. Next, trim down from the center to the tenon on each end. The tenon is the size of a side. Then divide each side in half, then in quarters. With these marks I can cut off the current corners. I'm very close now to a sphere. Actually, close enough for this project. I don't need to spend much time making it perfect. For a perfect sphere, I suggest my video on turning a perfect sphere, or even for a not quite perfect sphere. Next, I'm measuring my chuck jaws for a mounting tenon and transferring this measure to the live center end. After cutting this tenon, I repeat for the headstock end. At this point, I remount the wood into the chuck, then bore out the other end as large as possible, but leaving the tenon for a future mount. Then flip the wood around and bore out the opposite side. For this simple project, I'm now cutting a cove at the equator line with my bowl gouge. Then a similar cove in the northern hemisphere, followed by the same in the southern hemisphere. Then refine all the coves to look good. Now I'm hollowing the center to a thin wall between the center and the outer coves. This is a large opening, so I'm comfortable using my spindle gouge and a round nose scraper. and flip it around to work from the other end the same way. And flip it around again to get it even. Sometimes it is easier to work from the opposite side of the lathe. I almost got it too thin, but a bit of translucency is okay. Another flip and I should be getting close. Finally, I decide to turn away the black stains from the wet wood on the chuck jaws and turn this into a small cove. Masking tape protects the wood from staining in the final mount. I am not going to sand this project. I'm storing it in a paper grocery bag for a week or so to dry out. The color is an interesting orange color. I know it would lighten up if I sanded it, but no, I'm just going to apply walnut oil for this one. As I think about how to display this piece, I don't want to go to a lot of effort for this initial experimental turning. I found a piece left over of the same wood. It is end grain and has a lot of checks, but it may do for a small stand. I'll mount it, form a simple shape, and sand it. In this process, I cut a bead to fit my small chuck jaws. Then reverse it to clean up the bottom and hollow it slightly. I lose a small chunk to the checks, but that is okay. There it is! I'm not sure what to call it. It has to be an art piece since it has absolutely no utility function. It is an experimental piece, at least for me, to begin progression as inspired by Max Brosi. It will do for now, but I want to go far beyond this shape. It cannot even hold candy. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, tell your friends, and send me your comments and questions. Every week I make a new woodturning video. Please wear your full face shield anytime the lathe is running. Until next week's video, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.